Hello and welcome to this, our sixth video in this series on Rails. And here we're looking at active record, the actions particularly create, read, update and destroy. This makes an acronym CRUD, which is an acronym that stands for the four verbs Rails uses on data. Active record automatically creates methods to allow an application to read and manipulate data within tables. So at the top left we've got create, so we have book.new and then you can add your attributes to this instantiation of the class. Then you'd do book.save. Alternatively you can do book.create with a hash. We can also do read, so find ID, so that's find by the you find from the ID. Find by, which you can choose any attribute from your table and extract it's just one instance from the table with that same value for the attribute. And .where, which can give you several instances, and you can put in a hash within the params to tell what you want. You've got first, which is the first instance of the table. Last is the last. Take is a random. Take any instance at random from the table. Pluck takes out only the columns that you want from the table. So for instance, if you wanted just the authors for all of the table entries, then you would use pluck brackets :author. All, that would be after an all command, and all or a where command, all would extract all the entries from the database, where of course, as we mentioned, select according to certain criteria. Order, we can order by ascending or descending, so that would be alphabetical order or however the table has been ordered in the first place. And limit gives us whether we want one or two instances from the database. And offset, you can actually start your request from, say, one entry in, and offset allows you to do that. Update involves reading the record, which is second what we saw in the read section, and also modifying and then saving it. We can also read and then update directly on the instance, and that is the update method. Modifying it would involve reassigning attributes, and where then update all is quite a powerful command that allows us to do all the updates in one go. We can also destroy or delete, and Ruby's destroy method uses callbacks on the class, on the model, and so we'll look at callbacks later, but you can add a callbacks to your model, so to say what you want to do before the model is destroyed, before the instance of the model is destroyed, or after the instance is destroyed. And DB, if we're doing changes directly on the database without any callbacks, then we use delete and the ID. Or we can do delete all, but I think possibly you should be a bit careful about that, because you could delete all of the entries in the database if you're not careful. But of course, if it's linked with a where command, then it's safer. So let's look a bit more detail at create. So book.new. So we've got here book.new, and then within after our semicolons here within the Rails console, we've got, because semicolons separate each of the commands, we've got new book.title because we've assigned the new book to a variable, and then we're reassigning, or actually just assigning for the first instance, values for each of the column headings with our ghost methods to name the title, the author, and the review, the price, and then at the end we're saving it. We can also do our hash with book.new, title, Confident Ruby, author, Avdi Grimm, that we see on with new book 2, and then we'd have a semicolon to separate that command if we want it on the same line, and we'd use save to save the transaction. Then we've got book.create, which actually does the save and the kind of new in the same instance. So you then assign that the hash, and we can see that at the bottom. And you can see that the SQL commands are successful because we've got our SQL statements underneath our commands. So next one is reading. So again, we're going to our console and we look at, we can order our results. So we've gone for year, so descending. So we start from the latest year and then descend to the lowest. And we can pluck the year to verify that. So we've done book.all.order year descending .pluck year. And we can see an array that is returned with 2015, 2012, 2012, and 2011, which are the dates of all the books. We can also choose book.first and book.all.first, which is similar, but slightly different because it shows that we can chain our commands, and it's not that bad on the database. It's quite, both book.first and book.all.first are fine. But book.all square bracket 0 is quite heavy because it involves extracting all of the books and then putting the first instance in the active record array that is returned. Notice that it's an active record array. It's like a kind of active record object. It's treated like an array, so we can use map on this straight away. We can change it into an actual array if we want, but for all intents and purposes, active record objects act like arrays. Then we look at update. So again, we're just taking the column names. We're book.where.first. This is continuing with read. We've got book.where.first, which is a good command, but book.where year 2012 square bracket 0 probably to be avoided. And we've also got book.where 2012 pluck title, and we've actually got two results there because there's two books in 2012. And book.find by year returns nil without the exclamation mark because we don't have a book that was created written in 1970, but we do have book.find by exclamation mark, which returns an actual error. So sometimes you might want that error: active record not found, couldn't find book. Now we've got also update. So update is, again, we go into our console and we assign book.findby to a book, and book.review, we are using our ghost methods to change the review, and then we are saving the book. So that's one way. Another way is to do book.findby, author Sam, the author name, and then call chain update on that. So that's quite a nice command. Saves us having to reassign each of the values, and also update all would allow us to update everything from our where command. So it can be quite a powerful command. And then finally we've got delete. So the Rails console again, and we can, in the first instance, we're doing destroy, which is with our callbacks. We don't actually have any callbacks on the model, but at the moment, but we do book.findby author Sam Ruby, book.destroy, and this deletes the books from the database, and would have carried out any callbacks if we had actually specified. And then we've got book2 equals book.findby author Michael Hartle, and book.delete book2.id. We can see that the count for the books is now 2, whereas before it was 4. And we can check how many the authors that we've got. We've got book.all.pluck author to show an array of the 2 remaining authors. So just to recap, we've got create, read, update and destroy, and Active Record creates methods to allow an application to read and manipulate data. We had our book.new, book.save, or book.create for the create part of our CRUD commands. We had find by, where, first, last, take, which was to take anything from random, pluck, which was to take out the titles or any particular attribute, and all. And we had order, ascending or descending, limit, and offset, which was to offset our results by 1 in the database. We had update, which was to read the record, modify and save, or just call update. Or finally, you could have done where and then update all. And we also had destroy, which was we find the ID and destroy by the ID. And that would use callbacks from the model, or we delete, and that would just take it out of the database. We could also use delete all, but of course be careful of that.